Right now at 5:30, we have some breaking news out of Europe this morning. The British Prime Minister's resigned following the country's decision to leave the European Union. What that could mean for the United States coming up. It's a dramatic event around the world. Also on WKYT, there will be tighter security at the Lexington Pride Fest tomorrow following the Orlando massacre. We'll have more on that coming up this morning. And 3 former Wildcats have been drafted into the NBA. We'll tell you who they are, where they're going, ahead on WKYT this morning.
This is WKYT This Morning.
It's Friday. Good morning. Welcome in. Glad you're with us. I'm Bill Bryant.
I'm Rebecca Smith. It is a historic day, really, across the world with Britain deciding to leave the European Union.
Right, and the British Prime Minister is going to resign as a result. Lots of potential financial impact from this. We're going to be watching things today. We'll be watching weather as well. Things have calmed down for now. Meteorologist Micah Harris is here.
Yeah, and they really calmed down. I mean, we had a 3-day event that it was just one round of thunderstorms after another. Not just thunderstorms, but strong to severe storms. Those have since moved on out, and we're pretty good looking this morning, except that a few clouds are overhead, and that's keeping our temperatures in the mid to upper 60s for the most part. By the afternoon, I do expect some sunshine to peek on through, and we'll be at 86 degrees. Which isn't all that bad, but the weekend doesn't look that good in terms of the way it feels outside. Now, up in the sky, it doesn't look all that bad, so it's mainly dry, but very hot and humid. I'm going to show you how high we rise. That feels like temperature close to 100 degrees. That's coming up.
Ooh, okay, thank you.
Well, we are following breaking news this morning out of Britain. Prime Minister David Cameron has resigned, this after voters in the UK delivered what's really a stunning blow to the European Union this morning. The
Brexit referendum came down to the wire. In the end, UK voters split 52 to 48% to leave the 28-nation bloc. Tina Krause has the latest on the historic vote from London.
British Prime Minister David Cameron made a shocking decision to step down after the UK voted to leave the European Union.
I do not think it would be right for me to try to be the captain that steers our country to its next destination.
The UK has voted to leave the European Union.
Initial polls suggested a close race, but voters in Northern England and Wales helped tip the scale in favor of independence.
The sun has risen on an independent United Kingdom.
The Prime Minister called for the Brexit referendum under pressure from members of his party who claim Europe costs and controls too much. Anger over mass immigration fueled the Leave campaign because of the EU's open borders.
It does demonstrate the level of division and anger actually in the country. I think that it really is a wake-up call for Westminster.
Britain's decision to leave the EU is already being felt here and around the world. The British pound plummeted to a 30-year low against the dollar following the news. Back in April, President Obama said a Brexit would put any future U.S.-UK trade deals in jeopardy.
Because our focus is in negotiating with a big bloc, the European Union, to get a trade agreement done. And UK is going to be in the back of the queue.
Britain has been a part of the 28-nation bloc since joining 43 years ago, but formally separating won't be easy. The process is expected to take at least 2 years. Tina Krause, CBS News, London.
And already world stock markets are rocked by the news. There have been heavy losses in Asian and European markets, and the pound has fallen to levels not seen since 1985. They may continue falling. Here in the U.S., the S&P 500 futures dropped 5% overnight, and Dow Jones futures fell by 600 points. Those in the Leave camp say that the financial turmoil won't last long and that it is simply short-term turbulence. So we'll see how that is all worked out in the long run, and we'll have more coming up this morning. Jamal Murray was a projected lottery pick all along, and he didn't have to wait long to hear his name called last night in New York.
With the 7th pick in the 2016 NBA Draft, the Denver Nuggets select Jamal Murray from Kitchener, Canada, and the University of Kentucky.
And later in the evening, Skal Labissière fell out of the lottery but stayed in the first round. The Phoenix Suns drafted him at number 28, and then he was traded to the Sacramento Kings. Tyler Ulis went to the Phoenix Suns as the 34th overall pick. Lee K. Howard spoke with Murray just shortly after he was drafted.
You told me the other day that Minnesota would be a good destination, but you wouldn't care exactly who you went to. Denver, a team that maybe not a lot of people projected you to go to. How do you feel now that you are a Nugget?
Great. So happy. Thankful that they picked me. I was excited to get it going. Excited to show them what I got, and I know they wanted me, so I just want to make them proud.
Jamal Murray is the 20th first-round pick under John Calipari since 2010. Overall now, Coach Cal has had 27 players drafted since he arrived at UK.
New this morning, a couple in Versailles had to find somewhere else to sleep after their home was damaged by fire. The fire happened just after 11 last night on Amsden Avenue near the Bluegrass Community Hospital. Firefighters say that fire was contained to the attic, but the only way crews could get to it was to cut a hole in the roof. The couple and their dog made it out safely. Crews are still investigating exactly what caused the fire, but they do suspect it may have been an electrical issue. Well, today, a man convicted in a Lexington murder case will face a judge and receive a sentence. Derek Pelfrey was shot and killed on Spangler Drive in September of 2013. In April, Desmond Jones pleaded guilty to criminal facilitation of robbery. According to our news partners at the Herald Leader, the murder charge against Jones was dropped. As a part of a new deal, he must testify against 2 others charged in the deadly shooting.
Back here in Kentucky, we're looking for the events going on over the weekend. Tomorrow will be Lexington's Pride Festival.
Security expected to be pretty tight, of course, following the massive mass shooting in Orlando at that popular gay nightclub. WKYT's Mike Byer is live this morning looking ahead to this weekend's festival. Good morning.
Good morning, Rebecca. Tomorrow, the Robert F. Stevens Courthouse Plaza is going to be filled with thousands of people for Lexington's annual Pride Festival. This year, organizers expect over 25,000 people to take part in the festivities. Those on hand will have plenty to do at this year's festival, from listening to live music to taking in the local food vendors, the delicious food from the local food vendors. With the recent tragedy in Orlando, members from both the LGBTQ community and police force recently met. They want to make sure event goers can take in all the sights and sounds in the safest way possible. During our recent meeting, they discussed issues like preparedness, understanding each other's resources, expanding open communication, and bringing in extra security. Now, the festival kicks off tomorrow morning right here at the Courthouse Plaza and runs all day long. It's going to be a day filled with plenty of emotion, I'm sure. Live in Lexington, Mike Byer, WKYT.
Mike, thank you. People across central Kentucky are picking up pieces this morning after strong storms blew across the state. At one point during the storms yesterday, Scott County was under a tornado warning. Emergency managers say they did not receive any reports of a tornado touching down, but the storm did leave some damage in its wake.
Debris and chaff and hay and trash and logs and everything else. It gets in the fence and you got to clean it out. It makes a mess.
Well, he still has plenty to clean up. John McCall says he's relieved to see everything on his farm is okay.
In Lexington, firefighters blame lightning for a fire that damaged a home. The people who live in the home on Richmond Road say lightning struck the top of the home last night and caught the roof on fire. They say they heard a loud boom. Then their neighbors called them to tell them that their house was on fire. Everyone inside, we understand, including the pets, got out safely. Firefighters say there's now a hole in the roof where the lightning hit it and sparked that fire. In Campbellsville, firefighters are trying to figure out if lightning sparked a large fire at a business. According to the Central Kentucky News Journal, the fire caused major damage yesterday at H&W Sports. There's no word on any injuries. Remember, you can help us track storms even when you're away from the TV with the WKYT Weather Plus Traffic app. You can download it for free in the app or Google Play stores. Bluegrass music legend Ralph Stanley has died. Bill Bryant is at our alert desk with details.
His publicist says Ralph Stanley died yesterday. Stanley was a native of Virginia, but he was known around the bluegrass music world. He and his brother Carter formed the Stanley Brothers and the Clinch Mountain Boys, those groups back in the 1940s, 1946 specifically. Ralph Stanley became a member of the Grand Ole Opry in 2000, and he won a Grammy in 2002. Ralph Stanley was 89 years old. Rebecca?
Loss of a music legend this morning. Thanks so much, Bill. Well, new this morning, Lexington city officials evacuated the area around a demolition site after the project did not go as planned. Happened about noon yesterday near a vacant 4-story building on Lexington Avenue. The city says they stopped demolition of the building because the contracting crew did not have the proper equipment. They say the crew also was not properly conducting the demolition. As a precaution, the city closed the street and evacuated anyone within 300 feet of the building. The city called in a contractor to properly finish the demolition. No one was injured and the area is open again.
The victim of a Boyle County hit and run may be facing charges. Yesterday morning, we told you deputies in Boyle County are looking for a hit and run driver who they say seriously injured a woman. That happened late Monday night on Highway 2168, not far from US 127. Deputies say a maroon car sideswiped 43-year-old Angela Fox as she rode her moped. Now they are asking for your help in tracking down that driver. But they say Fox was driving her moped on a suspended license, and she could face charges as well. A candlelight vigil being planned for a child who died in another hit and run. On Monday, 10-year-old Stanley Turner died after being struck by a car in Pulaski County. The vigil for him will be held this coming Monday night at 7:30 outside the Science Hill Post Office. Investigators are still trying to track down the driver who they say caused Stanley's death, and they say they want to question a woman who was driving a red four-door car who was seen in the area around the time of the crash.
Well, it is a good show for a good cause in downtown Lexington. The annual Children's Charity Cabaret was held last night at Heritage Hall. It's part of Children's Charity Classic Week. The event included dinner, music, and a performance by comedian Jeff Foxworthy. Children's Charity Classic says they're able to give back to the community.
We're just spreading a lot of good joy and a lot of goodwill throughout Central Kentucky and helping as many kids as we possibly can.
You'll be able to watch the Children's Charity Classic Golf Tournament Saturday afternoon at 3 o'clock right here on WKYT.
And through the darkness, across wet roads, runners and walkers are carrying a torch from Lexington all the way to Somerset. It's an 80-mile journey that started last night, and it will end at the Pulaski County Relay for Life later tonight. Cancer patients, their caregivers, and volunteers passed the torch last night at the Hope Lodge near Commonwealth Stadium. We were there, as you see. The torch symbolizes their hope that one day cancer will be defeated, and it represents the hope that each cancer patient needs to defeat their disease. Circuit Judge David Tapp was the first runner in the long relay. He lost his wife to cancer and came up with the idea to have a long torch run that would help kick off the Relay for Life. Tapp told us that the torch will travel through 5 counties before it eventually reaches Pulaski County later today.
So we've got a lot of stages, a lot of transitions, a lot may go wrong, but frankly, everything's going to turn out all right in the end.
Sheriff's deputies and police in each county along the relay route are helping with clearing the way for each runner to help keep them safe. And so remember, they're running right now, and so be careful out there. Give them you know, a salute if you can along the way.
Maybe
if you
some
see
water
them.
as well.
Yes, right. And contribute to their cause. That is the main reason they're doing this. 5:43 now. And let's check live drive traffic for you this morning and see what's going on.
Here's a look at our traffic map, a wide view, things looking A-OK. And here's a look at the Lexington Fayette Irvine County Government's live drive cam. Things getting going on this early Friday at Main and Limestone. Yeah, downtown looking good this morning. Already early hints of daylight, so we're beginning to get the day underway with no problem so far. A lot more news coming up for you Friday morning on WKYT. One Arizona teenager with a terminal disease enjoys the simple things for his birthday. A card. We'll tell you how you can help make his birthday special when we come back.
Getting the storms on out of here, and now we're starting to try to beat the heat once we head off towards your weekend. I'm going to show you how high we go in your forecast with those temperatures coming up next.
Now, your hour-by-hour forecast with meteorologist Micah Harris.
Well, the good news here is those storms are long gone. We had a 3-day event of that. It was strong to severe weather. That's long gone. Still trying to get the clouds on out of here, though. You're going to wake up with mostly cloudy skies, and so it's not going to be the best view once the sun does rise. But once we hit the afternoon, I do expect those clouds to disappear for the most part, and we'll get some sunshine in the forecast for today. We're at the upper 60s, lower 70s because of the cloud cover. It's not a bad feeling outside as you're walking out the door, and roadways look pretty good, too. I haven't heard of any problems whatsoever. Things this afternoon were right there in the mid-80s. And then we hit the weekend. Now, remember, this is your feels-like temperature. This is not your actual temperature, but the feels-like temperature, the way it feels on your skin, the heat index, right there around 90 degrees on Saturday. But watch this as we roll towards Sunday. I mean, you're talking about some heat. We're going to be right around 101 degrees there in Frankfurt. Remember, this is the way it feels on your skin, the temperature and the moisture added together. And we'll be close to 100 degrees in many locations. That goes for Pulaski County. That goes up toward Montgomery County and Maysville and Mason County. So it just shows you some big time heat is on the way, especially for Sunday. Look at the 65 corridor. Not fun right there. And then we break it down for you the rest of the weekend and off into your next work week. Well, low to mid 90s are expected this weekend. There is a small chance of rain on Sunday. For the most part, it's mainly dry this weekend, especially on Saturday, but storms do return to the forecast as we slide off into next week. So here's your 7-day and what you can expect. The 7-day isn't all that bad. I mean, there's bits and pieces here that we can take out of. 86 degrees today. That's a great way to finish off your work week today. A little tidbit for you. We are at 9:05 for the sun to set. Now, us three know that, no doubt about it, because we're trying to close the blinds, close the windows before we go to bed. It's just tough, but 9:05 is unbelievable. And that goes through the next few evenings there, but 91, 93 there for the weekend, guys.
And really, that daylight hangs around after that for some time.
Right, absolutely.
So,
those blackout curtains come in handy
they
around
really
the time.
do, yeah.
Yes.
Oh, well, you know, good old summertime, right? And the long days right now.
Well, getting a birthday card in the mail makes a lot of people feel special. Those cards mean even more to one Arizona teen who is battling a life-threatening illness.
Jacob Priestley is 13 years old, and he has a rare disease that has weakened every cell in his body. His mom says his disease is terminal, but they're not focusing on that. Instead, they're focusing on making each of Jacob's birthdays special. One thing Jacob loves is getting a birthday card, so his mom posted on Facebook asking for people to send a card. The response has been surprising.
It exploded. We went what we call Arizona viral, and that's when we got about 8,000 cards. It was great.
They make me feel better, and they just makes me happy.
Jacob's actual birthday isn't until the end of August, but he figures he wants to reach his goal of more than 10,000 cards, and he thought he needed a little head start. If you're interested in sending Jacob a birthday card, we have his address for you, and it is there on your screen. We'll try to put that on our website as well. And I see Mike is taking a picture, so he'll probably tweet that. Get that out, because that
really
is
awesome.
It really is cool, and
yeah.
I bet he exceeds the goal.
Well, maybe some homemade cards, that might be nice.
Wouldn't that be
as
nice?
well. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. A lot of folks pulling for it.
Yeah, and coming up, you'll get the stories making news right now.
We'll be checking traffic again. We'll see how things are moving along out there this morning, and we have some health news and a lot more. And it sure is good to have you with us here on WKYT. Good morning. Welcome back to WKYT this morning, hitting 5:54 on your Friday morning.
It is a good morning, isn't it?
It's a good feel when it's the end of the work week,
headed
right?
into the first full weekend, right, of summer. Let's get a look right now at some of the stories we're working on for you at this hour.
And there is a lot going on. Thousands of people are expected to fill the streets in downtown Lexington tomorrow for this year's Pride Fest. There will be extra security there this year after the recent massacre at a gay club in Orlando.
Today, a man convicted in a Lexington murder case will face a judge and receive his sentence in April. Desmond Jones pleaded guilty to criminal facilitation of robbery. As part of his plea deal, he must testify against two others charged in the deadly shooting of Derek Pelfrey in 2013. Topping headlines this morning, the UK has voted to exit the European Union.
A major story around the world. British Prime Minister David Cameron also announced he is resigning. Cameron called for the so-called Brexit referendum to take place. He was under pressure, though, from members of his party to do that, partly concerned by a flood of immigrants entering the country. Britain has been a part of the 28-nation European bloc since its founding 43 years ago.
Back here in the States, more rain on the way for parts of West Virginia already hit hard by deadly flooding. The floods were brought on by powerful thunderstorms Thursday that sparked mudslides and damaged roads. A state of emergency is now underway in more than 40 counties.
Authorities in California are battling yet another wildfire that's quickly consuming homes. The blaze erupted north of Bakersfield yesterday, forcing hundreds of evacuations. Extreme heat in recent days triggered several other major wildfires there in the state.
Researchers in the UK say an antibody that fights the dengue virus may lead to a vaccine against Zika. That tops your health headlines this morning.
Details on that. There have been more than 800 reported cases of the mosquito-borne disease in the U.S. Almost all are travel-related. So far, mosquitoes in the U.S. have not transmitted the virus. Diabetes and kidney disease could increase the risk of stroke and heart disease in African Americans. That's according to researchers in Mississippi who looked at more than 3,200 patients. They say doctors need to focus more on testing the kidney function of high-risk African Americans.
Let's get a check right now. Today's traffic trouble spots on Friday on your Live Direct Traffic.
Yeah, see what's going on out there, and here are the current travel times, and they look good. It's an easy ride in from Nicholasville to Versailles, Frankfort, Paris, Georgetown, Winchester, Richmond. Everybody moving along just fine this morning. Here is a look at the Lexington-Fayette Urban County Government camera there at Main and Limestone in beautiful downtown Lexington, KY, which is coming to life this morning and looking really good, and light traffic right now.
And we're all slowly coming to real life right now, but it's easier to do when it's the weekend, Mike, and hopefully the weather will be decent for it.
You know, the weekend actually looks pretty good. There are a lot of events going on, and the events are A-OK, but let me tell you this. It is going to be hot. It will be humid. I promise you that. Temperatures this morning in the 60s. Roadways look pretty good. Dry weather for today. Pretty pleasant later on this afternoon at 86. But remember, we're talking about close to 100 degrees for your heat index there for your weekend. We're going to get into that coming up with another hour of WKYT News.